Pablo Picasso's Guernica is not merely a painting, it is a scream made visible. Created in 1937, one of history's most powerful anti-war statements. Its sheer scale is overwhelming, 3.5 meters high, 7.8 meters wide. Not for a quiet drawing room, a public mural-sized declaration to confront the viewer. Painted in oil on canvas, Picasso pushed the medium to expressive limits, turning paint into a visceral chronicle. It was his immediate furious response to a horrific event. On April 26, 1937, the Nazi German Condor Legion, at Franco's request, bombed Guernica. It was market day. The town was filled with civilians. The attack was a calculated act of terror. In Paris, Picasso learned of the massacre and abandoned his original commission to pour fury into one epic work. He drew on influences. Goya, the 3rd of May, 1808. The decision to paint Guernica in a stark, monochromatic palette, black-white varying shades of gray. This was not a world of color but a world drained of life. Picasso denied the viewer the comfort of naturalistic hues, instead plunging them into a stark, graphic universe of absolutes, light and dark, life and death, good and evil. The absence of color intensifies the emotional impact, making the scene feel both immediate and timeless. It is the visual equivalent of a silent scream, where the intensity is found not in volume, but in the raw, unvarnished truth of the forms themselves. This restricted palette directly references how Picasso and the world received news of the bombing. The story was delivered in stark black and white newspapers and grainy monochromatic photographs. The painting becomes a kind of monumental newsprint, its flat, stark forms echoing a front-page headline, but by a harsh, glaring electric bulb shaped like an evil eye and the flickering flames of a burning building. It is a cold, interrogating glare exposing every horror, making Guernica the tragedy of all humanity. The composition of Guernica is a masterclass in controlled chaos. At first glance, the massive canvas appears to be a bewildering tangle of fractured bodies, screaming heads, sharp geometric shapes. Yet beneath this surface of pandemonium lies a deliberate and stable structure. Picasso organizes the scene within a vast triangle, its apex centered on the lamp-bearing woman. The classical pyramidal composition is used ironically here. It contains the frenetic energy of the scene while focusing the eye on the massacre. Picasso uses Cubism. He shatters forms, then reassembles them, showing multiple viewpoints at once. This conveys the violent fragmentation of life. A face is profile and frontal simultaneously, capturing a head turning in a split second of terror. The painting reads like a triptych with 3 sections. Left, bull over a screaming mother clutching her dead child. Center, the dying horse, pierced by a spear, its head thrown back in a silent scream directly beneath the harsh glare of the electric bulb. Right, figures trapped in a burning building, one raising their arms to the sky in a desperate futile plea. There is no escape. The figures in Guernica, well, they're not portraits of individuals, but rather, they're these archetypes of suffering, each one contributing a unique note to the painting's devastating chorus. The most debated figure, I suppose, is that powerful bull over on the far left. It stands there, stoic and dark, with its tail flicking like a plume of smoke. At the center, the horse, a figure of pure agony, the most dynamic and tragic character in this drama. Its body is riddled with patterns like newsprint, a gaping wound on its side pierced by a spear, its head thrown back, mouth open in a silent, terrifying scream, its tongue like a sharp dagger. On the left, a mother wails to the heavens, cradling her lifeless child. Her tongue is sharp like the horse's, a piercing scream. On the right, a figure is engulfed in flames, arms raised. Another figure rushes in, body bent, transfixed by horror. From a window, a woman holds an oil lamp, a beacon. The lamp is hope. The lamp is truth. The lamp as the act of bearing witness, illuminating the darkness. Above the chaos, a bare electric bulb hangs in an eye-shaped fixture. The evil eye, modernity's capacity for destruction. Together they create a complex web of symbolism, a modern mythology of destruction. When Guernica was first unveiled at the 1937 Paris International Exposition, its effect was immediate and profound. Stunned visitors and journalists stared at the mural. It stood in stark contrast to the triumphant pavilions nearby. Nazi Germany, the Soviet Union. Picasso's mural was a direct rebuke to that nationalist pomp. It was not a celebration of Spain, but a memorial to its suffering. While some critics were at first baffled by its radical Cubist style, its raw emotional power was undeniable. The painting quickly became a potent piece of propaganda for the Spanish Republic, touring internationally, to raise awareness and to raise funds. After the fall of the Republic and Franco's victory, Picasso refused to allow the painting to be housed in Spain until liberty and democracy were restored. For over 4 decades, Guernica lived in exile, primarily at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. There it became the world's most famous anti-war icon. During the Vietnam War, it served as a backdrop for protests, its imagery of slaughtered civilians resonating deeply with a new generation of activists. Its status was so powerful that a tapestry reproduction at the United Nations was famously covered up in 2003. The cover-up happened when U.S. officials were due to make the case for the war in Iraq. Guernica's influence on subsequent art is, honestly, immeasurable. Its scale, its political conviction, and its fusion of personal style with public statement. In 1981, following the death of Franco and the restoration of democracy, Guernica finally came home to Spain. Today, it resides in the Museo Reina Sofia in Madrid, drawing millions of visitors who stand in hushed reverence before it. Its subject may be a specific event from 1937, but its message is universal and eternal. It remains a shocking and vital work of art because the brutality it depicts has never left us. It is a timeless cry for peace, a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict, and a testament to the enduring power of art to bear witness and demand that we never forget.